off the flight coming back from Florida State. I was out there in Tallahassee to watch Florida State beat up on Virginia Tech, live and in person. If you follow me on social media, which I hope you do, you would have seen I was there. I was on the sideline. I was in the press box. I was moving and shaking out there, making things happen. But I could not let week 5 go by without giving you my picks. I mean, I know you guys want the picks, right? So let's get to the picks. Won't take up too much of your time. Again, this is the pregame leading up to week 5. Make sure you subscribe to the Sanchez Show, streaming across all major platforms: Spotify, YouTube. We do the lives every Friday night, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. This week we're doing it Sunday, obviously. And then later tonight, my brother Trip Young and myself will be coming to you guys with Real Fans, Real Talk as we get into everything that's going on in the world of sports. I know we're going to get into the game 1 of the WNBA finals that's tipping off tonight. One of the most highly anticipated WNBA finals, WNBA playoff series ever. So I know we're going to get into that as well. So we got a lot to get into today, but let's start, like I said, with the NFL. That's what I'm focused on today. Make sure you follow me across all social media platforms as well. Got a lot of things in the works that I want to share with you guys, and I want to engage with you guys there as well. So make sure Legend in 2 Games, completely spelled out as you see there on the screen. After this episode is recorded, after this live is done, it will be up on Spotify as well. But I try to come to you guys before the game starts, so that way you have the picks in and you know what's going on. Last week, another successful week, 10-6 outright against the outright winners, 8-8 against the spread. So we were a little shaky last week. If we circle back, let's see what hurt us. Kansas City didn't cover. That hurt. Who else? The Pats. We had the Pats to cover. That hurt. We thought Dallas would win. We thought Pats could cover. They didn't, obviously. What went right last week? Oh, Philly didn't cover. Indy did not. That was an even matchup. Those were some of the ones that hurt us. And Cincinnati, I think, probably was the ugliest one out of all of them. The one I'm most upset about is Cleveland, though, because we didn't find out until about 30 minutes before kickoff that Deshaun wasn't playing. At that point, it was too late. The picks were already made. We were invested. We thought the Browns could beat the Ravens. Obviously, we didn't know the backup was playing. But neither here nor there. What went right last week? Let's see what went right. What we were right about. What we knew would happen. Um, Jags winning in London. I also had the Jags winning today. So I'm recording a little later than that game has already started. I have the Jags covering the 5.5, and I think they were a live underdog to win today. I think they were like plus 220. I took the 5.5 and the under in that game. So we'll see how that plays out. What else worked for us last week? The Vikings worked for us last week. The Texans, who were my upset pick, worked for us last week. The Chargers, who we liked last week. Seattle on Monday night. If you guys have been following the show, you know Seattle's a team that I really like out west. Look shaky week 1. They've come on strong. Vern, what's good, bro? I see you in here. Let me know if you want to join the live. I'll send you the link as well. But Seattle was a team that looked shaky week 1. I think they've settled in the last couple of weeks. I think the line's a little more accurate as to who Seattle is as a team right now. I think they're a legitimate playoff team in the NFC. They went well for us last week. The Commanders. I had them on Thursday night. I'm going to admit, I had them on Thursday night. Vern and I were talking. We both liked them. I didn't think they would cover. I liked them to win. They were disgusting. They were disgusting on Thursday night. I got to admit. Justin Fields, I mean, I don't know what to make of some of these quarterbacks, because we saw Zach Wilson on Monday night against the Chiefs have his best performance as a pro. And then we see Justin Fields turn around on Thursday night and have his best performance as a pro. So it's making me start to wonder that maybe week 5 will continue some of this weirdness and some of this goofy play that we've been seeing. But I'm still going to stay with my picks. I'm staying strong. For the record, I had the Commanders on Thursday night, so I was dead wrong there. But I also had the Jags to cover the 5.5 today. I got it on a bet slip if anybody's challenging it as well. Vern, I don't know if you had them. Let me know if you got anything on that London game. But I had the Jags with the 5.5, just because I knew they were going to be staying in London. They had that extra week to stay there, and Buffalo was coming off an emotional win against Miami. Buffalo had to exert a lot of energy to win that game. So then to travel over to London and face the Jags team that was already there, a little unfair. But I had the Jags with the 5.5. Let's go down the list though. I'll start with some of the better games of the day, and we'll work from there. And there are not too many great games. The best game of the day, Vern said, thought it'd be a close game, didn't take the spread anyway. Got you. Bills money line, got you. Best game of the day is the Sunday night game. San Francisco favored by 3.5 over Dallas. This was a game that I was truly hyped to see. I still am hyped to see it, but no Trayvon Diggs. I don't think Dallas really can keep up. Dallas has been inconsistent at times. They look really good against bad teams. They struggle against better teams. They haven't looked as polished. I like San Fran. San Fran to cover the 3.5. I also think San Fran is just far more physical. We've seen it in the last couple playoff matchups. San Fran, I think, is the better coach team in this situation. And Vern, I know you hate to hear this, but there really isn't a position that Dallas is better than, even at the quarterback position. I think Brock Purdy is better than Dak Prescott. So, quarterback, running back, receiver, O line, D line, secondary, all those areas, I don't think Dallas is better than. And then when you add that to the fact that they aren't a better coach team either, I like San Fran. I'm not going to put them as a 401k pick of the week, but San Fran is my pick for this week. And I'll stay with the primetime games. We're going to go to Monday night. Packers at Vegas. Vegas right now is favored by 2. I'm not sure why. Jimmy G, is he back? Is he completely recovered from the concussion? I don't think it really matters. I think this Packer team is better than the Vegas Raiders. I'm taking the Packers as one of my upset picks of the week, and purely because of the line. Again, the line is at 2. I think the Packers are a better team. So I got the Packers winning there. Let's get back to the Sunday games, though. Some of the other ones I like. And again, we're going down the slate, but I'm starting off with the ones I really like the most. Another underdog I like is the Texans. We're going to continue to ride that wave. The Texans were my upset pick last week. I think they do it again this week. They're getting 2.5 points in Atlanta. D'Amico Ryans has this defense playing really, really well. They got a young secondary. They've got a young quarterback who is showing he can make all of the throws and make all of the plays. Nico Collins is developing into a legitimate number 1 receiver. Atlanta, outside of their running game, is not much to like with Atlanta. And this is another one of those situations we've talked about in the past. Vern knows. Will Gordon knows. Shout out to my brother Will Gordon. I know he was on live yesterday with his picks. Atlanta's a team that when they have the lead, they can run the ball. They can look great. But in this situation, this Texans defense is good enough to slow them down running the ball. I think Texans jump out on them early, force them to play catch up. So I like the Texans as another one of my upset picks for today. And then if we're talking tickets, which we always talking tickets, Vern said he teased them to 8.5. I like it. I like it. This is probably a field goal game either way, but I think the Texans are a better team and a better coach team. Another one of those scenarios. When you have 2 pretty evenly matched teams, you take the points. I like the Texans here, so I would take the points. Another underdog, though, that I would take the points, and I think they're going to win outright. And you could put these 3 together. You could put the Packers. Vern, let me know if you got your site up. You could put the Packers, the Texans, and I think the Saints. New England favored by 1.5. New England is missing their 2 best defensive players. Matthew Judon, Christian Gonzalez are both out for this game. The Patriots offense has not done a thing this year to make me think that they can really beat anybody. The Saints defense is still pretty good. The Saints offense has some playmakers. I know the quarterback position is a little shaky there. They're also in the same boat. Derek Carr, is he fully healthy? Is Jameis going to play again? I still like the Saints. I like their defense better. And because the Patriots are banged up, I like them. So that's the third upset team. Vern, I'm going to get to that game now as well because that's a tricky one. I think the Cards getting 3 points in Cincinnati. The Cards have played better than Cincinnati has this year. The Cards probably should have 2 wins under their belt right now. They probably should have blown that game to the Giants, and then we saw them beat Dallas. But this is one of those desperation games. And if you're the Bengals, I don't know how you can lose this game. You have to win this game, Vern. I know what you're saying, Vern. But if you're the Bengals, if you lose this game, do you possibly entertain the idea of just sitting Joe Burrow? Because you might just be too far behind to get back in the race with the AFC, let alone your division. The Bengals have to win today. I'm not going against the Bengals in that situation. I know you don't care, Vern. I'm telling you, I can't go against the Bengals in that situation. I'm going to take the Bengals there. But again, the 3 underdogs that I really, really like, I like the Packers on Monday night. I like the Texans today in Atlanta. I like the Saints today in New England. As you can see, there's a trend. Underdogs on the road, but they're not playing really good teams. So this is a situation where those underdogs can win. Let's get Let's get some of the favorites in there, though. Let's get some of the favorites I like today. I mentioned the Bengals. Vern, comment. Let me know what you think about this Philly Rams game because I'm going to get to that soon too. Another underdog team. Another underdog team that I like. I like the Jets getting 2.5 at Denver. Denver's not a really good team. Jets have a really good defense. The Jets, the last few weeks, their defense has hung tough. I know they probably won't get that same performance from Zach Wilson again, but they don't need that type of performance against this Denver Bronco team. They just need their defense to show up. And the Denver Broncos, right now, are on pace to be a historically bad defense. I mean, we're talking like over the last 60 years, worst defense ever. I can see the Jets having a big day running the ball on the Broncos. I can see that defense causing multiple turnovers and winning. And don't forget, there is a revenge factor in the Jets Broncos game. There is a revenge factor there. Sean Payton went out of his way to make comments about Jets offensive coordinator, who was the coach last year with the Denver Broncos. Remember, Aaron Rodgers came out, he defended him. I think there's still a little bit of that animosity there in that Jets locker room. We want to show Sean Payton that he was out of pocket for making those comments about our offensive coordinator. I like the Jets getting a 2.5 there, man. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Sanchez Show. We normally go live every Friday night. This week I was on the road. Shout out to Tallahassee. They showed me a lot of love out there. Yes, Nathaniel Hackett was trash last year. He's pretty good as an offensive coordinator, but he was bad as a head coach last year with the Broncos. But I think there is a revenge factor there for them. But shout out to Tallahassee. I was in Florida State yesterday. Showed a lot of love. Florida State won. They are the number 5 team in the country. They're probably going to move up into the top 4 because Texas lost yesterday. Vern, I know you don't think they're a playoff team. Vern and I were talking during the game yesterday. But right now, they look like they're going to move into the top 4. So just to recap, if you're just joining the show, I know we're going quick, but I'm trying to get the picks out there so that if you want to put a ticket in, you got your FanDuel, if you got your DraftKings up, you get your picks in because we're about an hour and a half away from kickoff. I said Packers on Monday night. I like San Fran 3.5 on Sunday night. I like underdogs that I like. I like the Jets. I like the Texans. I like the Saints. I like the Rams. As Vern mentioned, Rams plus 4.5. I show them as plus 4. Vern said I'm here, so I need to know if I need to modify. That's what we do. We try to get right. I like the Rams to cover this, man. And Vern, you would know better than I would. You watch obviously the NFC East closer than I do. Your Commanders recently played against the Eagles. One of my takeaways from that game was how easy the Commanders were able to move the ball against this so-called great defense. I saw it. I saw Sam Howell move the ball up and down the field on his defense. And this Rams offense, who I got to watch last week when they beat my Colts in overtime, can move the ball up and down the field. By the way, they also get Cooper Kupp back today. So their offense is starting to round out a little bit. They found something in their running game with the Kid Williams. They get Cooper Kupp now. I like the Rams to at least cover the 4.5 points. And to Vern's point, if you could tease them up even higher, because I think they will cover. Philly does not cover spreads very well. Great point by Vern. And this Ram offense is pretty good. So I think this could get a little tricky. I like the Rams to cover there. I like, as I mentioned, I like the Jets. I like Kansas City to cover. Kansas City, 3.5 on the road at Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is not that good. Kansas City has been rolling a little bit. Don't get caught up in last week. Too much. I think this line 3.5. Vern, you may disagree or agree. You let me know. This 3.5 is affected by how the Jets defense played against Kansas City last week. Minnesota ain't got Jets defense. Kansas City's going to take care of business there. Kansas City will cover that 3.5. I could see Kansas City winning by a touchdown at least. Kirk Cousins won't play that well. The Chiefs defense is pretty good as well. So I can see Kansas City covering that. Let's see what else we got. We got my boys, Indy. The Colts getting 2.5 at home against the Titans. There's another one of them situations when it's close teams, evenly matched teams, take the points. I think you take the points most of the time. This is another one of them situations. Indy getting 2.5 at home against a Titans team that isn't that good, that isn't prolific offensively. So they play into the mix of what the Colts can do defensively. I like the Colts, and they get Jonathan Taylor back. Everything is right in the world. Shout out to Gary. I see you in here. Minnesota's a great team, but the Chiefs are better. Absolutely. But yeah, Indy getting 2.5. That's another underdog that I like. I think today's gonna be big with the underdogs, man. This is an opportunity to get right. This is an opportunity to get your bread up with some of these underdogs if you play it right today. So, and then like I mentioned, I had the Jags covering the 5.5. But let's go back there. Oh, what I'm missing? I'm missing what? I'm missing a couple games here. All right. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Baltimore is favored by 4.5. I think Pittsburgh keeps it close. Rivalry game. Baltimore still a little banged up. Mike Tomlin, there's a prideful situation for them. Pittsburgh keeps it close. I think Baltimore wins this game late. I can see the Ravens winning this game on a Justin Tucker field goal late. Pittsburgh hangs around because of their defense. They'll cover the 4.5. So that's another underdog to keep an eye on. Last 5 matchups been decided by 5 points as well. Expect a close game. Absolutely. That's what you get when the Ravens and the Steelers play. So 4.5 is a little high. I know Pittsburgh offense has not looked good, but their defense is still very good. And the Ravens are a little banged up offensively. So I like that there. Detroit hosting Carolina. Detroit given 9 points. Take the 9 points. Carolina's a bad team. And it don't matter who they thought there. Andy Dalton, Bryce Young, doesn't matter. I like Detroit. I like their defense. Vern said he took Ravens at 3.5. That's fair. I probably would even work it down lower. I probably would have taken it to 2.5. Vern, shout out to Vern because the locks last week hit. I capitalized on that ticket as well. You had like Eagles, Kansas City, San Fran, all down to 2.5. And then you also took the Chargers in that game over Vegas. I substituted the Chargers just because I don't trust Brandon Staley. I substituted him and I put Canelo in there who fought last Saturday. And I apologize, guys, if I sound a little nasally. My allergies is kicking my ass. But take him down to 3.5. I would have taken him down to 2.5. Said take every point. I agree. Gary said fire Canada. Listen, let's go back through the picks real quick. I want to make sure we got it all right. Do remember tonight, 7 p.m., Trip Young and myself will be going live. We'll do a recap of all of the games, as well as recap game 1 of the WNBA Finals, which goes down at 3 o'clock. But I like the Jags today with the 5.5. I got the ticket already and to prove it. So let's see how that works out. I like the Colts. They're getting 2.5 at home. I like the Saints on the road in New England, getting 1.5. And I like the Saints to win outright. I like Pittsburgh to keep it close, but lose to Baltimore. I like the Texans to win outright against the Falcons. Detroit giving 9 points. They'll cover that against the Panthers. Miami. That's the one game we missed. Vern, I'm surprised you didn't stop me because that is the 401k pick of the week. Miami, 13 points. I think you could boost that up to 19 points and still cover. I really do. The Giants. There's 2 teams in the NFL this year, and I got Giant fans in my life, so they're not going to like to hear this. There's 2 teams in the NFL this year that have not held a lead at all in any game. 2 teams. The Giants and the Jets. Those are the 2 teams. The Giants have been so bad in all of the first halves of these games. I mean, they have been non-competitive. They've been shut out multiple times in the first half. Take the Dolphins. Vern, this is a 1 o'clock game, so it doesn't relate here. But as Vern likes to say, you put the money on them, you go to bed, you wake up happy the next day, stress-free money. You just didn't even have to worry about it. Gary, you're right. New York is in shambles right now. Giants are worse than the Jets, to be honest. Way worse. Way worse than the Jets. At least the Jets are competitive. At least the Jets are putting their best effort forward. They just have a bad quarterback. I don't think today it'll matter because Denver's terrible defensively. But Miami, 13 points is the 401k pick of the week. Bengals Cards, it's a tough game. I'm taking the Bengals because I can't go against them. Philly, -4 at the Rams. I'm taking a double-digit spread, Vern. And I think this is a 19-point victory. I think you could even juice that line up to 19 and still cover. The Giants' offense is so bad. They are not going to keep up with this Miami Dolphins team down in Florida. The weather's beautiful down there, by the way. It's a nice and calm, high 70s. It's beautiful down there. It is. They ain't not keeping up with the Dolphins. And the Dolphins want to get right after last week. Don't forget, the Dolphins were highly upset by the performance they put forward last week in Buffalo. They take it out on the Giants today. I'm going to move that line up to 19, and I'm going to send you a picture of it, Vern. because they're gonna kill the Giants today. Um, Bengals Cards. I'm not canceling Joe Burrow on them yet. I'm staying with Burrow. I think they win today. Um, and like I said, Rams. I think Rams keep it close. Rams keep it close. Philly wins. I think the Jets get an outright win in Denver. Denver's defense is terrible, but if you want to play safe, take the 2.5 points. Jets defense is really good. They will dominate that Denver offense today. As long as Zach Wilson doesn't blow it. If Zach Wilson doesn't blow it, he's allowed one turnover today. He's allowed one turnover. Anything more than that, he could blow it. Kansas City beats Minnesota. They're giving that 3.5. And then Sunday night, I like San Fran at 3.5 beating Dallas, and I like the Packers on Monday night. Vern, let me know. Write a ticket that we could put together here because I'm looking at something here. What if we do? What if we could bring Miami down? Yeah, pick six turnover would kill us there. What if we bring Miami down? Gary said, I say after last week, Zach does good today again. Excuse me. That last game has self-esteem boosted. I agree. I think he's a little more confident, and you see the guys rallying around him. I think the running game is going to be better for them and continues to get better. But that defense is really, really good, and I don't like anything that Russell Wilson and them guys are doing. They shouldn't have beat the Bears last week. The Bears had them beat. They had no business even winning that game. And you saw the way they made Justin Fields look, and they made that Bears defense look great. Jets are going to dominate them. We got to figure out a ticket. Maybe a Miami, Kansas City, San Fran. We work them down, and Philly money line. Vern, comment. Let me know what we could put together there with Miami, Philly, Kansas City, San Fran. Philly will work them down to a money line. Everybody else, we might have to work that line down a little bit. And then underdogs that I really like today, man. I like the Colts as an underdog. I like the Saints as an underdog. I like the Texans as an underdog. I like the Jets as an. Those are four legitimate underdogs I think could win. Let's see, Vern, what you got? Jets plus 3.5. Dolphins to minus 7.5. San Fran spread. You said I don't know if Philly wins. I think Philly wins, but it's going to be a close game, man, because that defense got to tighten up. This Rams offense can move the ball, and the Rams can score. Fins down to 7.5. So Jets plus 3.5. So we give them an extra point. We put Dolphins at minus 7.5. I like it. And leave San Fran at 3.5. Okay. We're going to post tickets today. We feeling arrogant because we've been winning. Yeah, I like that one. Let's take the Rams at 7.5. Juice them up to 7.5. I like that one as well. We feeling arrogant today, Vern. We posting tickets. Vern, I posted your one ticket earlier. I'm gonna put a couple together and I'm gonna post them. We're gonna put it out there. We're gonna see what happens, man. Do remember though, make sure you are subscribed to the Sanchez Show. Gary said Rams definitely pulling it off today. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like the energy. Everybody's excited for week 5. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Sanchez Show. Normally we go live on Friday nights, 9 p.m. But this week I was on the road. I had to postpone it. Shout out to Will Gordon. I know he put his picks out yesterday, so I got to touch base with him and see what he put out there. But we'll be back next Friday. And then later today, I got you, Vern. No problem, man. This was short notice. I literally landed at 9 o'clock today. So I said, yo, I got a little time. Let me get the picks out there before the game start. Tonight, 7 p.m., Trip Young and myself will be going live again on YouTube and Facebook as we recap all of today's games leading up to the Sunday night game between Dallas and San Fran. And we'll also be discussing game 1 of the WNBA playoffs. We're going to get into some Major League Baseball playoffs as well. Today, I'm not doing that unless I got questions about Major League Baseball playoffs. I was going to save that for 7 o'clock. So for you guys that want to hear or want to talk some baseball, tune in at 7 o'clock. I'm going to post the link as well because we're going to get into baseball playoffs, WNBA finals, and recapping week 5 of the games. Subscribe to the Sanchez Show. Shoot me a like, shoot me a comment. Make sure you follow me across all social media platforms. It is Legend Into Games, completely spelled out. And I hope everybody cashes their tickets today, man. Everybody wins big, man. Everybody eats, B. With that being said, I am Eric Sanchez. This is the Sanchez Show. I'll see you guys later tonight, man. 7 p.m. Tune in.